whispers of the Eastern State Penitentiary, ghostly echoes in the dark. What if walls could talk? What if the cold, stone confines of a centuries-old prison could whisper the secrets of those who lived and died within? Welcome to the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a fortress of mystery and despair. From its Gothic spires to its echoing halls, this abandoned penitentiary harbors chilling stories of restless spirits and haunted pasts that refuse to be silenced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing is certain. Once you step inside, the air feels heavier, the shadows longer, and the silence deafening. Could it be just your imagination, or is something or someone watching? A glimpse into history, the birth of a haunted landmark. Built in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary was revolutionary for its time. Designed to reform prisoners through complete isolation, it was the first prison to implement solitary confinement as a standard practice. Inmates spent up to 23 hours a day in their small cells, with only a single skylight known as the Eye of God above them. They were forbidden from speaking, even during their brief moments outside their cells. But isolation, it turns out, doesn't foster redemption. Instead, it breeds madness. Over the decades, tales of desperation, violence, and despair seeped into the prison's stones. By the time it closed in 1971, Eastern State had become a symbol of suffering. Today, it stands as a crumbling monument to the darker side of humanity and, if the rumors are true, a haven for the supernatural. The Hook, a prison that never sleeps. It's said that not all who enter Eastern State Penitentiary ever truly leave. Visitors and paranormal investigators alike have reported eerie phenomena, disembodied voices echoing down empty halls, shadowy figures slipping through the darkness, and unexplained cold spots that send shivers down your spine. But it's not just the stories that make this place so terrifying, it's the overwhelming sense that you're not alone, even when you are. Al Capone and his ghostly torment. One of the most famous inmates to call Eastern State home was none other than Al Capone, the notorious Chicago mob boss. Capone was imprisoned here in 1929 for carrying a concealed weapon. Surprisingly, his cell was anything but ordinary. Nicknamed Capone's Suite, it was adorned with fine furniture, oriental rugs, and even a personal radio. But Capone's time at Eastern State wasn't peaceful. He claimed to be tormented by the ghost of James Clark, one of the victims of the infamous St. Valentine's Day massacre. Guards often reported hearing Capone scream at night, begging for forgiveness from an unseen presence. Could it be guilt that haunted him, or was something more sinister at play? The Ghost in Cell Block 12. Perhaps the most chilling location in the penitentiary is Cell Block 12, a dark, narrow corridor where many have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing eerie whispers. Paranormal investigators who have spent the night there describe a palpable feeling of being watched, as though the walls themselves have eyes. In one particularly unsettling account, a group of ghost hunters captured footage of a shadow darting across the corridor. The figure appeared to have no discernible features, only a vaguely human form. Despite their skepticism, the investigators couldn't explain what they had seen. A guide's terrifying encounter. Even those who work at Eastern State have their share of spine-chilling stories. One tour guide, Sarah, recounted a night she'll never forget. It was during one of our Halloween tours, she began, her voice trembling slightly. I was locking up for the night and decided to take a quick detour through Cell Block 4, just to make sure no props were left behind. The lights were dim, casting long shadows on the walls. I was halfway down the corridor when I heard Ida's low, guttural growl. I froze, thinking it was one of the animatronics malfunctioning. But then I remembered we didn't have any sound effects in that area. As I turned to leave, I felt it, a hand brushing against my shoulder. I whipped around, but no one was there. I sprinted out of the block, and I haven't gone back alone since. The Legend of the Headless Guard. One of the prison's oldest legends is that of the Headless Guard, a specter said to haunt the prison's corridors. The story goes that during a riot in the 1800s, an unlucky guard was caught by the inmates and brutally killed. His head was never recovered. To this day, visitors claim to hear heavy footsteps in the halls, accompanied by the faint clinking of keys. Some even report seeing a headless figure in a guard's uniform, patrolling the prison as if still on duty. Is this just a tale spun to frighten visitors? Or is the headless guard still seeking justice for his untimely death? The sounds of despair, a choir of ghosts. Multiple visitors have reported hearing a chorus of eerie sounds, faint whispers, agonized cries, and even laughter that seems to echo off the stone walls. But the most unnerving report comes from cell block 6, where several individuals claim to have heard the same haunting refrain, "Let me out." What's peculiar is that these voices often seem to come from empty cells, making the experience all the more chilling. Poltergeist activity. More than just a feeling. Beyond the whispers and shadows, there have been numerous accounts of physical interactions. Doors slam shut on their own, objects move without explanation, and in one particularly terrifying instance, a visitor claimed to have been shoved by an invisible force. One paranormal team recounted a night when their equipment was mysteriously turned off, despite having fully charged batteries. When they reviewed their footage, they caught the faint sound of laughter, a deep, guttural chuckle that sent chills down their spines. Unexplained phenomena. Fact or fiction? Skeptics might chalk up the eerie sounds and ghostly sightings to the prison's crumbling architecture or the power of suggestion. After all, a place as notorious as Eastern State is bound to inspire a few overactive imaginations. But even the most rational minds have been shaken by what they've experienced here. Paranormal investigator Zach Bagans of Ghost Adventures described Eastern State as one of the most active locations we've ever investigated. His team recorded numerous EVP's electronic voice phenomena, including what sounded like a man screaming for help. What makes these occurrences so compelling is their consistency. Over the years, countless visitors, many with no prior knowledge of the prison's haunted reputation, have reported similar experiences. The residual energy theory. One possible explanation for the hauntings at Eastern State is the residual energy theory, which suggests that traumatic events can leave behind an imprint on the environment. Given the immense suffering and despair experienced within these walls, it's no wonder that some believe the prison is a hotbed for residual energy. However, there's also a darker theory, that some of the spirits here are not mere imprints, but intelligent entities, fully aware of the living who wander into their domain. A personal visit. Do you dare? If you're brave enough, Eastern State Penitentiary offers ghost tours year-round. Walking through its decaying corridors, you'll see the peeling paint, rusting bars, and the infamous skylights that once symbolized salvation. But be warned, many who visit claim to leave with more than just memories. Some say they felt inexplicable touches, heard whispers in their ears, or even brought something unexplainable home with them. Will you be the next to experience the penitentiary's haunted secrets? Why do we fear the unknown? Places like Eastern State tap into our deepest fears, not just of ghosts, but of isolation, regret, and the weight of our own actions. Perhaps that's why the stories of this prison resonate so strong. They remind us that while we may escape the walls that confine us, we can never escape ourselves. So, the next time you hear a whisper in the dark or feel a chill run down your spine, remember, the past has a way of living. And at Eastern State Penitentiary, the past is never far away. Would you dare to walk its halls at night, or will you let the whispers of this haunted prison remain a mystery?